And a very special day today, as today we get to launch the Maxus all new T90ev, which is the UK's first full electric double cab pickup. So a really exciting event for us, and I'm going to take great pleasure in showing you around this vehicle and some of the key parts. Pricing on this vehicle, £49,995 plus the VAT, which is an absolute snip for this electric vehicle that I'm about to show you. As with all new cars and vans when they're launched, when we see them in the flesh, we have a first impression of, do we like the front end, do we like the back end, is it the side-on view profile that's our preference, or is it the entire thing? So I'm just going to walk around this with you, but we're going to start at the front end. Very prominent grille, which is very typically Maxus in terms of the chrome finish on the grille. Very D9 Lux model finish that we've got here. This is a full LED daytime running light, which as a light signature goes on a van is just lovely. And it very cleverly alternates between here, which is the LED daytime running light, and the headlight down here. You want to see when you flash. When you flash, it leaps between the two. Very cool. Automatic headlights as standard, automatic windscreen wipers as standard immediately. If we just move round to the side, and I'm just talking about standard equipment level finishes, we've got alloy wheels fitted. Just on the alloy wheels as well, these are 17-inch alloy wheels. You can, as an accessory with Maxus, get all-terrain tyres. So if that's something that you're thinking of doing, you know, there's a bit more off-road that you'd want to be doing, you can buy all-terrain tyres as well. Just in terms of that look, so there's lots of different colours. You know, you can move between the solid colours and the metallic colours as well, and quite a varied selection of colours, which is nice. You've got a good choice. That just in terms of that look, you can see we've got colour-coded bumpers front and rear, colour-coded door mirror casings, and colour-coded handles as well. So that, in the colour of your choice, creates a really consistent look and colour across the entire length of the vehicle. Just in terms of that entire length, something else I'll show you when we get on the inside. It's 5.3 metres in terms of its length. It's 1.8 metres wide, 1.7 metres tall. So it's very double cab-esque in terms of its overall dimensions. But because it's a full electric, and of course things like transmission tunnels are no longer there because there's not an engine and a gearbox configuration, so much more room on the inside. Leg room and headroom, so much more room. But I'll show you that shortly. Side steps also fitted as a standard feature. And we have here the chrome finished roll bar, which of course, if you're going to personalize the back with canopies or with hard tops, this will come off, and of course your canopies and hard tops will go on there. We've already ordered our canopy. You can get canopies with side opening windows, sliding windows, and the hard top is on its way. Just coming round to the back. So just when you thought the front was lovely, here's the back. How lovely is that? Isn't that really nicely designed? So standard features from the back that we can see, we have a reversing camera, we have rear parking sensors, and you can have fitted a tow bar as well on here. I'll tell you more about the towing capacity shortly. But in terms of the overall look of this vehicle, how good looking is it? So we are still at the near side of the double cab pickup, and here we have a fuel filler flap in a typical fuel filler flap scenario, but behind here we have our charging ports. So if you're used to electric vehicles and you've been charging previously, then this will all look very straightforward for you. If you're new to it, I'm going to show you some stuff which should mean it's also very straightforward for you. First of all, there are two covers. I'm just going to remove the first one, and this one here is AC charging, adaptive charging. And what that means is if you were charging through your home, or you had a office or home charger that had been installed, and depending on whether you're single phase electricity into your house or three phase electricity, that dictates the power of the charging port that you can have in your house. So 7 kilowatt hour, 11 kilowatt hour, 22 kilowatt hour, that dictates whether you're single phase or three phase, or is dictated by whether you're single or three phase. So this, I have a home charger. I have a 7 kilowatt charger at home. I would plug this into here, and this goes into my charging cable, charging port at home. And once it's connected, I leave it, and typically, because this is an 88 kilowatt battery, overnight I would have a full charge. So you kind of do the maths. A 7 kilowatt charger into an 88 kilowatt battery, divide that in, it's typically 10 to 12 hours. And remember, you won't get to your charger with no charge at all. So if it's 20 or 30%, you're just topping it up through to the 100%. But I know overnight this will be charged and I'll be ready to go the following day. What does fully charged mean? Well, with obviously weather conditions on your side, so that's in good weather conditions, typically 220 miles range. It's not particularly warm at the moment, and if you're watching this in summertime and you're thinking, why is he wearing a Christmas jumper? It's because we're in December and it's extremely cold outside. But even extremely cold, this fully charged is 175 miles in terms of range. So you can see there's a little bit of effect if the weather is cold, and that's obviously going to have some influence on the battery, but not a lot. So it's as simple as that. We're just plugging in and we're unplugging, and that's our home charging. Now, if you're out and about, as I do, and you need perhaps sometimes a recharge, then if we remove this second cover, what you're looking at here is now what we call a CCS cable DC charger. And that, as I'm moving my finger around the exterior of this, that is what that cable would actually look like. Now, often these are tethered, because that means you go to a charging port at a fuel station and it's already got the cable on. You take that cable off, it's a bigger cable, nothing like the one I've just shown you, and you plug the whole thing in across that, and that now is DC charging, and that will take typically 20 to 80% charge, about 45 minutes, and that's assuming you're using a 50 to a 100 kilowatt charger that you find often in the charging stations. And that's it. That's as simple as that. That's all you need to be thinking about in terms of, well, how do I charge this and what range will I get? I hope that's helped you. We're back at the back of the T90ev, and for me, this is absolutely my favourite angle. Love the back of the T90ev. It is a very attractive. It's a very attractive pickup, but this is my favourite. So you'd be thinking perhaps if you run one of these, or you're planning on running one, and that off-road capability sits very tall, doesn't it? Looks very much the part, but it's a full electric, and you'll be asking yourself the question, how is it going to cope with going off-road? And what's its capabilities? Well, the first thing that I want to share with you, and it's really important, is that in here it will cope with a ton payload. Let's remind ourselves again, this is a full electric pickup, but a ton payload, which means for those of you thinking about buying it through a business, it is a full light commercial vehicle. It has van status, which means all of the tax advantages are there for you, as perhaps you've had previously with vans you've already bought. I'm 16.5 stone. This is taking my weight nice and easily as well, isn't it? So if that demonstrates the ability of the tailgate itself, That's a good demonstration. It'll tow as well, and it will tow 1,500 kilograms, 1.5 tons. It's a full electric vehicle, remember. I did say earlier it could have a tow bar fitted. One thing I want to share with you is, again, you might be thinking, well, four-wheel drive, off-road capability. It is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and I just want you to pop down here, if you can. And you see here, this is the 150 kilowatt motor. And the 150 kilowatt motor is driving the rear wheels. And the reason it's mounted where it is that you've got that immediate drive to the back wheels. And then the battery pack is mounted on the underside of the van in front of that electric motor. So in terms of ground clearance, if you're thinking about, well, with batteries, will it cope? There is this thing called wading distance, wading depth. And wading depth is, well, you know, how deep can it go? The wading depth on our T90ev is 22 inches. 22 inches. Is that deep enough for you? We've moved to the inside now of the T90ev, and I'm standing looking at the rear seats first of all. Draw your attention to the interior upholstery. So you would think, looking at this, you're going to be leaping into a full leather interior. Just carry on thinking that. It's not actually full leather. It is leatherette or faux leather, as you might know it as. And it's finished in black with this red contrast stitching. Faux leather is more environmentally friendly, it is CO2 efficient, and it still looks and wears as hard as leather. So actually a good thing to have this style of interior. Whilst we're looking across the rear seats, the two external seats have ISOFIX, so if you're carrying family in here, then it's going to be a safe experience for them. And add to that, we have airbags fitted in the C pillar, the B pillar, the A pillar, the steering wheel, and the front passenger have airbags as well. So not that you would ever want to use them, but you are fully protected in terms of airbag deployment around the cab area. I mentioned about the dimensions of this double cab pickup, 5.3 meters in terms of the overall length, and 1.8 meters in terms of its width, and just how much more room, because this is full electric, you get in terms of examples like this. So if we just look down towards the transmission tunnel, where you'd normally find that quite high because of an engine gearbox link between the front and the rear axles, you've got minimal intrusion here, and lots of leg room as well for the rear seat passengers. So a good amount of space for the rear seat passengers, and lots of comfort as well. It's so well finished. So well finished. Let's have a look in the front. Electrically operated front seats for rake adjustment and height. Adaptation for the steering wheel height, so you can get your ideal seating position. Electric windows all round, electrically operated door mirrors. All of the functionality that perhaps you'd expect that you've got in your car or that you currently have in your van, that you now get in the T90ev as standard features. Draw your attention to the 10-inch touchscreen with the USB cable connection, and your smartphone, be it an Android or an Apple, you can connect to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which of course will then give you Google Maps. So the most important thing, and you know, I'm 61 years old, but even for me, I kind of look at this technology and think, thank goodness, I connect my phone, and once it's connected to Apple CarPlay, I'm talking to the car. I'm telling it a postcode and it'll take me to the postcode. I need to send a WhatsApp message to one of my kids. I send it, they return, they reply to me. I have a chat with them in the car, but I'm doing all of this through the vehicle and Apple CarPlay, whilst my concentration is here right in front of me. That's the most important thing, most important feature for me on the interior. air conditioning fitted as standards, perhaps you'd expect. And then just in terms of how this thing works, it's a very straightforward reverse, neutral and drive. And we also have the option here for a power button or for an eco button. Eco button you'd only use if you were literally traveling around town. It would hold the speed to no more than 58 miles an hour, and power mode would be when you're out and about on open roads. If I can just go back into reverse and just show you what image you're looking at for the reverse as well. So there you go, it's back of our showroom there. But the camera, and then almost like a bird's eye view, which would give you the hashed lines if I was getting too close to something. So you got the benefit of both the camera and then this overhead view as well, with warnings, audible warnings if you're getting too close to something. Just reminding you that this is the UK's first, our first, Maxus's first, but the UK's first double cab pickup, full electric technology, 88 kilowatt battery, up to 220 miles range, and it's at £49,995 plus the VAT, with all of the benefits of buying a van and putting it through your business and all the tax advantages that brings. You have to take this van very seriously. So for my van of the week, which is this T90ev, just launched into the UK and the UK's first full electric vehicle, or for any other new or used van inquiries that you might have, my name's Neil. I'm the van man here at Maxus in Louth. Give me a call or visit my website, which of course is Drayton Motors Maxus, and I look forward to talking to you soon.